The book that should not speak. The manuscript arrived at the monastery of St. Viridian on a moonless night in the winter of 1423. No messenger delivered it. No horse approached the gates. The monks simply awoke to find a weather-worn chest resting before the great oak doors, its iron clasps cold as river stone. Brother Aldrich, the youngest scribe, was the first to notice the faint warmth radiating from within. Inside lay a single book. Its calfskin cover was pale, almost luminous, as though it had never been touched by sunlight. Strange vines were etched into the leather, twisting, looping, forming shapes that suggested letters, but dissolved into nonsense the longer one stared. The pages, though centuries old, were impossibly crisp, and the ink shimmered like something alive. The abbot ordered the book sealed in the scriptorium, but Aldrich could not resist. He felt drawn to it, as if the manuscript whispered to him through the wood of the locked cabinet. On the third night, he stole the key. The moment he opened the book, the air shifted. The candles guttered. The inked drawings impossible plants, star maps that matched no known sky. Women bathing in pools of green liquid seemed to pulse with a quiet, rhythmic glow. The text was written in a script unlike any Aldrich had seen. It flowed like water, looping and curling in patterns that felt almost familiar, yet utterly alien. He tried to copy a single character. His quill snapped. The next morning, Aldrich confessed to the abbot, expecting punishment. Instead, the abbot's face paled. "You should not have opened it," he whispered. "This is not a book. It is a breach." The manuscript was older than the monastery, older than any kingdom in Europe. It had been created in the late 13th century by a scholar named Elias Voynich, though that was not his birth name. Elias had been a linguist, an astronomer, and most dangerously, a seeker of forbidden knowledge. He believed that language was the key to unlocking the hidden architecture of the universe. Not the languages of men, but the primal tongue spoken before the first dawn. He called it the root speech. Legends claimed that the root speech was the language used by the beings who shaped the early world creatures neither divine nor mortal, whose words could bend reality. Elias believed fragments of this language lingered in dreams, in the patterns of leaves, in the spirals of seashells. He spent decades gathering symbols, sounds, and shapes, trying to reconstruct it. But the root speech was not meant to be learned. One night, while studying a meteorite that had fallen near his home, Elias discovered a pattern etched into the stone, an arrangement of lines that matched the symbols he had been collecting. He traced the pattern with his finger. The stone pulsed, and something looked back at him. Elias began writing feverishly, as though guided by an unseen hand. He filled page after page with symbols, diagrams, and illustrations of plants that did not exist on Earth. He drew constellations that belonged to no human sky. He wrote of a realm adjacent to ours, a place where thought and matter intertwined, where beings of shifting form whispered in the root speech. He called this realm the interstice. The more he wrote, the thinner the boundary became. Shadows lengthened unnaturally. The air around him shimmered. He heard voices soft, melodic, coaxing. They urged him to continue, to finish the book, to open the way. When Elias completed the final page, the manuscript trembled, the ink glowed, and the door to the interstice cracked open. What emerged was not a creature, but a presence and intelligence woven from light and shadow. It did not speak, yet Elias understood its meaning. "You have written the key. Now you must seal it." Realizing the danger, Elias bound the manuscript in protective sigils and fled. He hid the book in a chest of meteoric iron and entrusted it to a wandering order of monks sworn to guard forbidden knowledge. He warned them never to read it, never to open it, never to let it fall into the hands of those who sought power. But secrets have a way of resurfacing. Back in the monastery, the abbot explained all this to Aldrich in a trembling voice. The manuscript was not a text to be deciphered. It was a map, a conduit, a lure, Each time someone tries to read it, the abbot said, the interstice stirs. Aldrich felt cold. Then we must destroy it. The abbot shook his head. It cannot be destroyed. Elias tried. Fire would not burn it. Water would not stain it. Blades would not cut it. The book is not made of earthly matter. That night, the monks gathered in the scriptorium to seal the manuscript once more. But the moment they touched it, the pages fluttered open on their own. The symbols glowed brighter than ever. A low hum filled the room, vibrating through the stone floor. Aldrich felt the presence before he saw it a ripple in the air, a distortion like heat rising from desert sand. The candles extinguished. Darkness swallowed the room. Then came the whisper, not in Latin, not in any human tongue, in the root speech. The monks fell to their knees, clutching their heads. Aldrich alone remained standing, though his vision blurred. The manuscript's pages turned rapidly, as if an invisible hand were searching for something. A doorway of shimmering light began to form above the book. The interstice was opening. Aldrich acted on instinct. He seized the manuscript, ignoring the searing heat that burned his palms, and slammed it shut. The doorway flickered, then collapsed with a sound like a sigh. The presence withdrew. When the candles relit themselves, the abbot found Aldrich unconscious, the manuscript clutched to his chest. His hair had turned white. The monks hid the book once more, but they knew the truth. The manuscript was not finished with the world. Centuries later, it would resurface past from scholar to scholar, collector to collector. Each would try to decipher it. Each would fail. And each failure would thin the boundary just a little more. Even now, the symbols whisper to those who study them. The plants twist in ways that defy biology. The stars refuse to align with any known sky. Because the Voynich Manuscript is not a puzzle. It is a warning. And one day, if the final page is ever understood, the interstice may open again. If you enjoyed the video, kindly like and subscribe to help us grow. Take care.